Hello, and welcome back to Amnesia: The Dark Descent. So last episode, we made our way through the torture areas, we got all 6 orb pieces, and we got the pieces for the tonic in order to save Vire. Now, we're going to head into the chancel, and we're going to have a fun time. And that's exactly why. Now, there is actually a little bit of a glitch you can do, and I just did it. If you actually don't go far enough ahead to see them, what'll happen is the enemies... they corrected it, okay. That's funny. Originally, you were actually able to jump up there as soon as you entered the area, and you can actually, like, loop around the side, and they won't trigger and spawn. But, yeah, you can actually go hide up there, and we just got knocked out and captured by the brutes. We did not just die. Hazel spent all summer in bed. He used to read to her after helping father with his work. In his mind, he was like Scheherazade, and as long as he kept telling the story, she would not die. Yeah, so, obviously Daniel cared deeply for his sister Hazel. Alright, let's go ahead. Alright, you want to go ahead and just leave, buddy? Just, leave me alone. I promise I won't try to escape, now that you've left me here to die. So...
You have me worried. Quite frankly, I'm not sure what to do with you. I hold no grudge against you, Daniel. We are so very much the same, you and I. Did you really drink from the Amnesia mixture? It does explain so much of your behavior. You never did finish what you set out to do. You talked about redemption, how you would face the Orb Shadow and save our work and me. I will grant you another chance to redeem yourself. You can wait here and stop the shadow. Thank you, friend.
Thank you, friend, he says, as I'm immediately escaping. So there's actually a couple of ways that you can do this series of puzzles. You can use the hammer on that, or you can actually use this bar. You shove it in and wiggle it around and it pries some bricks loose. As well, once you have that, what you can do is you can actually go into this room. You can pick up a bucket, if I recall. It's this room to the next one, and then you can actually flood it with water from this, and then you can actually pour it down there, down the drain. So yeah, let's go ahead. I'll really quickly showcase what that would look like as well. But let me quick crank this. Yeah, that's another one of those things though. I never realized until relatively late in my playing of this game that you'd be able to use the metal rod like that. I always just use the metal rod to pry my way out, and then I use the bucket, this bucket, in order to get the key out. Alright, come on, game. There we go. Perfect. I don't think that you can actually miss that tempt opportunity, but I think you can get a second chance sometime in the future. Yeah, so let's see if it'll even let me use it over here now. Yeah, okay, so then, yeah, you can see it would do the exact same thing, and then you don't need it anymore. Alright, and then we have one more room to go into, and that's this one here. Yeah, so there's that dead guy. Apparently, this area got broken into by a brute, as you can see by the complete damage and devastation. And this guy either got killed by the brute, or he got killed by the falling rocks and the collapse. Not sure exactly what caused it. Anyway, Alexander thinks we're going to sit here and die. Oh, there's also one other thing, too. If you don't do anything, if you stay in here for like 1 or 2 minutes, the shadow will take over more and more of this, and if you stay in there long enough, it just kills you. And then that's treated as like a non-canon ending. Alright, so rusty key, but there was also a note over here I neglected to read. And we already did what it talks about, but... Last prisoner note. There is little left to say. I write solely to prevent myself from revisiting the memories of these last few days. If I am fortunate, I will fall asleep and time will pass without effort. I begin to wean myself of my prison. When I first arrived, it felt like I was being buried inside of a tomb, but now I feel the close walls comforting me. As long as I am in here, there is no pain. The walls protect me from the outside. I even laughed earlier as one of my wardens dropped a key down the pipes. It gave me hope for a second, thinking if I could escape, if only I could somehow reach it from here. In my dreams, Alexander, I am king. In my dreams, I best you and escape from your clutches and return with all of the knights of the realms carrying pistols and sabers. In my dreams. Yeah, and I actually would be really kind of... It would obviously be completely non-canon, but it would be really interesting to see what would happen if somebody had escaped this and told, like, the local nobility what was going on here. Because obviously nobody really liked Alexander. I'm going to really quickly close this, because we're going to have a chase sequence. Yeah, so let's just keep on running. What's happening is we're being chased by the shadow, and we have to be very, very quick about this, because if the shadow touches us, we're dead. There is no second chances, it doesn't damage us, we just die. And I don't know if actually closing those does anything. I also know that, I think it's right? Yep, it's to the left, okay. I never remember that. Anyway, yes, and I think what's going to happen is we're going to hit some water soon, and the water is actually going to make the shadow speed up a bit. Yeah, and you can see it's actually reddish, so I think it's kind of implied that this is supposed to actually be blood. Yep, and there you go, you can hear the shadow chasing us. And let's just run like heck. We want to get up here, get up all the way up to the top of these stairs around the corner, and we're going to be leaving that way. Come on, Daniel, hurry up, buddy. Come on, come on. We actually can turn around and watch it. You can actually see it kind of approaching. We're safe from up here. Yeah, and then what it does is it chases us up here, and it actually knocks out the torches as it gets to you. Let's see. When Hazel turned 15, she had lived 3 years longer than Dr. Tate had foreseen. Her parents had given up from exhaustion and decided ever permitted for permanent treatment at Canterbury Hospice, but she was still alive. She had embraced him and wished him a grand adventure in Algeria. So I know that it changes somewhat, depending on your actions, what happens to Hazel if she survives or not, but I don't remember exactly what it is that causes the triggers. Like, if not doing certain events makes her live or die, if doing certain events makes her live or die, I don't remember what it is. Oh, also, this is the other opportunity that you can use to get the Tamter for the Kernick. This either leads to a different well with the same one, or a different well with a different one, or it actually leads to the same well. It's just a large underground system, I'm not sure. Anyway, let's go read the note. Oh, okay. And yes, that's right. So this is another memory of Daniel's, and this was one of the events that broke him. Alexander became silent. He didn't know what to say. He could no longer recognize his friend sitting across the carriage. So what they did is they went to a place for the Mueller family.
18th of August, 1839. Tonight, we will unlock the power of the orb and ultimately banish the shadow hunting me. I feel it closing in on me, and I fear for my life more than ever. Just outside Altstadt lies a small settlement.
That's right, I'm sorry, Zimmerman, not Mueller.
Dairy farmer lives with his wife and 3 children. We took the coach, went there. Our visit was unexpected, and Alexander was able to strike Zimmerman down without alerting the others. As he went to take care of the farmhands, I began to look for the children. We should have more than enough prisoners to finish the ritual now.
Yes, and this was one of the things, I think this actually led to the capture of the wife and daughter, or the mother and daughter, that made him break as he killed the daughter. The crying had stopped and he could hear a whisper coming from the cell. They were up to something and he would have to punish them. Yes, and there is the little rose petal memory bits. And that was sort of the moment that I think Daniel realized that he had to stop this. Oh dear, that's not good. Let's really quickly move. So you can see the shadow is definitely here. Oh yeah, and it's even sealed off our way down. Yeah, and then this is... Oh hey, nice of you to dislodge a tinderbox for me. And I think that was the door that actually was busted. Oh god, okay. Yeah, that was the door that was busted earlier that we couldn't get through. We are going to have to take a few random hits from this. I still don't know how I like that. I mean, it just... It doesn't, because it can't kill you, it just like slaps you around a bit as you walk by, and it just becomes a mild nuisance. Oh, also, for some reason all of the torches disappeared from here, so if you light all of these, they end up becoming wasted. Okay, so we're heading on this way. We're actually going to head on down back towards Agrippa, and we're going to do a couple of things really quickly first. So, you might remember there was a barred door. This is actually where that barred door led. It led to a laboratory. What we need to do with the laboratory is we need to process all 3 of the items. What the heck? Oh, okay, that's why. Yeah, we need to process all 3 of the items in order to make the potion. So firstly, apparently boiling the blood just, I guess, focuses out the vitae or whatever. It does something to make the adrenaline come out. Next we need to, I think this is just boiling off the tempter. So that goes ahead and activates. It drains off all of the light green stuff. And this is an incomplete tonic. And then third, we need to crush out the poison from underneath this poison gland into the mix. Alright, come on, buddy. Perfect. And this should be Vire's tonic. I think I've been calling Agrippa Vire and Vire Agrippa. Anyway. Yeah, now of course the Shadow is still not very pleased with us.
I thought I lost you. The castle trembled and I could feel the chancel collapse.
Yeah, don't worry, I'm here.
It might be accessible now.
Okay, so before we feed him this, I'm just going to run into here. In this room is going to be the last thing that we need, and we're going to need a bone saw. You'll see why in just a second. I'm not really going to say more.
Thank goodness.
Alright, so let's go ahead. Yeah, he's going to say feed him the tonic and cut off his head. So let's do that. He's going to drink the tonic.
Off with the head.
And then we're going to cut off his head. And that is going to be... Yeah, we can pick up his head, and that's going to give us the option of the third ending. Now, if you actually miss any of those, or if you do it like improperly so that the game blocks you off, when you go in there, his head is actually just gone. You can't get him back, so you really have to make sure you don't miss any steps. Alexander saw that the evening had taken a toll on his friend's mind and barred him from the inner sanctum. He could no longer be trusted to be part of the ritual. And that was an image, I think, of the daughter running away from Daniel as he was chasing her down to kill her. Yeah, and you can see the Shadow has definitely been through here, and the Shadow is very, very displeased. Now, the good news, I guess if you can call it good news, is that the other monsters are gone. The bad news is there's actually a brute, and the brute's going to be a royal pain in the neck. I'm actually not going to head down, because we can go one of 3 ways. Oh, you know what? If we had actually gone in here, there's a little area over there that just has some extra stuff. I think it has like a note, and it has... It's almost like a... What do I want to call it? Like an Arabic-style suit of armor or something like that? It's a really interesting little place, but I've never really figured out what it is. If it's referencing like an old game or something, or if it's just a little bit of story content, or if it's supposed to be something of Alexander's. Oh, hang on. Game, don't... Okay, there we go. I was gonna say, don't tell me I'm stuck here. So, I need... Well, if I need him to leave, because we actually need to go into there, because at the end, we actually go that way, and that has the entrance to the inner sanctum. Come on, let's, Are you just gonna hang out in there? Kinda hope you don't, because oh god, there we go, okay. Yeah, let's, run this way. I really don't want him to chase me, though, because he will just kill me. And I think I've been pretty good. I think I've only died once because of that really well-timed fall. Alright, I'm gonna just stay crouched, not look towards him, and hope that he doesn't see me. I'm hoping he goes down that way, because I need to get into that room and do some puzzle solving and get a thing of tar. Okay. Guess he's gonna just come this way. Oh, for God's sake. Alright. I don't know how he hasn't seen me yet. Let's quickly pop a heal. God, I have 10 of these and 43 tenders. Jesus. Alright. Well, let's see. Are you gonna come on this way, buddy? Okay, there he is. I don't know if he will actually, like... Don't trust him? Yeah, good idea. I'm not going to trust the brute, Daniel. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, God, there we go. Okay, I don't know what exactly he does, because I normally just end up letting him kill me. And then he just kind of disappears, I guess. Okay. So, what happens now? Does he... Oh, for God's sake, really? Yeah, we can head into the nave again. If it wasn't for Alexander, he would still be innocent and be able to die, so... Oh, okay, that's actually a rare one. I normally... Yeah, I actually normally don't see a lot of these things. The sight of her lifeless body crippled his psyche. He tried to remove himself from the scene, but he could not. Instead, he fell to his knees and begged her for forgiveness. Okay, let's see if the monster's right here in front of me. He's not, okay. yeah, I don't know what oh, and the door is restored. Well, that's nice. If the monster is just kind of heading all the way back, I might just let him kill Daniel, because it's very, very difficult to do this section without dying. I'm not even sure if I've ever pulled it off. But yeah, I don't know if the monster is hidden, because he kind of just appears and disappears depending on the area. Okay, cool. Well, first order of business, I need to get the tar, and the tinderbox, and the note.
6th of August, 1839. I cannot believe what I have become. One of the girls escaped and I chased after her all the way upstairs. I hunted her down, and what is a life worth? How many lives can I take before I surrender my own? Sure, I would kill a murderer to save an innocent, but to kill an innocent to save myself? A cold-blooded murderer.
Yes, and that was titled Downfall, and that is Daniel finally realizing exactly what he's become. Alright, so we need to break these gears, and little stuff isn't going to cut it. I actually have to grab one of these big rocks from up here, and we need to break the gear system, because this is half of the system protecting the inner sanctum from invasion. So, first one is a rock. And no matter what, that will always damage you. It's impossible to avoid. You just take a hit of damage then. Alright, so now there's that. Now let's see, where is our brute friend? I'm really hoping he's not down to the left, inside of the inner sanctum area, because if he is, that's going to really suck, and he's probably going to kill me because it's really difficult to get him away. That being said, you can actually, using that broken off bridge, you actually can time it so that he falls off. Like he takes a swing and then disappears like the guy in the choir did. Alright, so first we went ahead and we actually disabled there's like one of the two systems controlling this, and now we need to assemble the orb to disable the other. And you might remember very early on there was a note that Daniel was talking about where he used tar to assemble the orb. So we have to do this just to make the orb assemble itself. And then the tar actually, he said that the tar just disappeared. Yep, and now this goes ahead. This will disable the magical energy protecting the inner sanctum, and it's going to lead us forward so that we can go chase down Alexander and issue his comeuppance. Alright, so we gotta really quickly run into the inner sanctum. She cried and struggled as he pulled at her arm. Her flowered Sunday dress ripped and she fell into the mud. Yeah, this is whatever they did there, and it's my theory that that was the mother and daughter that they killed, but I don't know. Alright, we also have to pull this, because if you don't, the shadow comes in here and it kills Daniel. But it's never actually confirmed if this is a different mother and daughter. Alright, so now we need to go ahead and we need to be doing some ritual nonsense. But first, another diary page. Once that stops making noise.
19th of August, 1839. It's not fair. I'm not to blame. I've been manipulated by that demon. He played my guilty conscience and duped me into facing the shadow alone. That vile, conspiring man. He expects me to meet my death as he steals power beyond imagination. Alexander, I will kill you for what you have done. If only the shadow had caught me in London or Algeria, I wouldn't have to suffer this humiliation. You made me a murderer, a monster. And now, I merely await my death. I am too weak to press on. I can hardly stand as my knees fail me. I cannot see as my eyes are dressed in tears. I am as broken as the men I've tortured. If only I could wipe my fear away, as we did with them.
Yes, and that was the point. Daniel made his plan to take out Alexander. So we need to do two things. First, I need to use this, and then I need to go over here. I need to stare up at this, and we need to wait for an event to trigger. There we go. So that was one of the two oaths. And then we have to go repeat it over here. So I think the reason that there's two of them is that it's implied that Daniel and Alexander would each do one. but I don't know that for sure. And also, depending on what you do, because doing this will actually each time like take a hit to your sanity, this one might actually make us pass out. Okay. And that opened up the door. Oh dear. Yep, here we are. So I think this is the first time that you're really seeing this. This is what happens when your sanity gets too low. And this is actually... Oh god. How am I... Oh, okay. Weird. Oh, maybe because I stabbed myself. Alright. Yeah, that really high-pitched ringing and all that. That's what happens when your sanity gets just too low, you pass out. And that would be a death state in the harder difficulty. Alright. So, let's run on in, and now we are making our way to the actual Orb Chamber. All his life he had thought he was a good man. Terrible deeds were only committed by terrible people, like Henry Bedloe, the bully in school. But now he had seen what he himself could do. You know, there's a really good book on that. It's entitled Ordinary Men, and it's highly worth a read. Hello, Alexander.
I was wondering
You
if
prick.
you were going to show up. I see Agrippa convinced you to run some errands. Tell me, is everything nice and clear now? Am I the villain?
Yes.
Good and evil. Such comforting concepts, but hardly applicable. Are you so blind that you see no good in me or evil in Agrippa?
Okay, so we have three options here. I can either knock these down, all three of these. I can do nothing and let him leave, or I can let these go long enough for a portal to start and shove Agrippa's head through. So, my preferred ending is knocking these over. Yeah, the pile is unstable, on verge of falling over, and I think what this is actually using 3 distinct orbs to power this.
You are ruining it.
Yes, and you know what, Alexander? You can shove it. You do have to do this quick enough, though, because I think if the portal opens, it actually disables. I don't think that you can still do that. But, yeah, here you are, Alexander. This is what you get for what you've done. Interestingly, apparently his hair is a separate item. I don't know if you're able to just see that. When his body disintegrated, his hair floated there for a second. But that is my preferred ending.
It was my greatest triumph, and I never looked back. You think I was afraid, fleeing Brennenburg? Huh. Quite the contrary.
Yeah, and if you actually go far enough ahead, you can see where the levels end. Like, that's just a black wall.
I knew it was my purgatory, hellfire made to wash away my sins. There's no denying the things I've done, but I have paid my tribute. I gave them that awful man. I did the right thing.
And there is, in my opinion, the best ending to Amnesia: The Dark Descent. Daniel gave the orb, or he gave the shadow and the orb. I'm sorry, what am I saying? He gave the orb back to the shadow, and he also sacrificed Alexander because he was the one who was truly trying to manipulate the orb's power. And Daniel gets to leave. At least he gets to go back to whatever life and face whatever justice exists out there if anyone's looking for him. And that was actually really kind of great. I remember being really impressed with this game, and this is still, in my opinion, this game is a masterclass in horror. And I mean, this was one of the ones that set off such a trend of the horror series where you kind of don't have any weapons, you have to run away from people, you just kind of have to hide and do puzzles. I mean, this game is still phenomenal all these years later. I don't really think I had many issues. I mean, there's a couple of areas of this game, like I talked about, that I think are a little bit weak. I believe let's see, so there's the choir, which I think is just a little awkward. And then maybe that part of the chancel where you have the guy patrolling, there's not really a good way to get around him or hide. You just kind of have to wait, and if he goes, like if I went down to the end with the room that I had to place the orb in to actually leave, if I were to do that, and the guy comes in there, he just kills you because he kind of blocks you in. It's really easy to get murdered by him. And because it's just a straight line, you really can't hide or like cut corners to try to get away. But besides that, I mean, this is just phenomenal. This is an excellent game, and I would still highly, highly recommend this. And I think this is like now, I think it might be $10 some days. If it's not $10 normally, it's I think $10 on sale. Definitely worth it, and I highly, highly recommend this to anyone who likes horror. I'm going to go in, I'm going to do the other 2 endings just to show them off to you, but yeah, I'm very, very happy I got to play this and show it off, and I hope that it was enjoyable to watch, even though I kind of knew what was going on, but yeah. So, thank you very much for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and I look forward to seeing you in another video very soon. See you then.
Are you so blind that you see no good in me or evil in Agrippa?
As a matter of fact, yes, but I'm still going to let you escape because Daniel's indecisive. Yeah, and I think like each one of these does a little burst like that. So it's not a very satisfying ending, but it is a neat one, and some people do actually think that karmically Daniel deserves this ending. But let's see. I wonder when the second one triggers. I don't know the exact timing, because once the portal starts, then there's still like a time gap to activate it. Okay. Oh, you know what? Maybe only the one has to activate, or maybe all 3 of them did, and I only noticed the one. Let's see, because once the portal starts, then it's like maybe another 30 seconds to a minute before he leaves. And yeah, you can actually take a look around. There's, you know, all of this orbiting stuff. There's these weird symbols on the wall. It's a very neat idea, and I really like some of the concepts that Frictional came up with this game. And the fact that Amnesia Rebirth is actually still set in the same canonical universe as Amnesia, The Dark Descent, and A Machine for Pigs is actually really awesome, and I'm so looking forward to that. You can hear the stinger music is playing, and it's starting to flash a little brighter in here, so we should have a portal opening soon. Come on, let's go, Alexander. Come on, buddy. Yeah, it really makes you wonder, too, like, what would have happened if Daniel had just stopped to eat a sandwich, like, take 15 minutes of a break to rest his legs? What would have happened then? Would he have gotten in here and Alexander just left already? Oh wow, these are actually speeding up more and more. Okay.
Do you see it? A whole other world. Oh, isn't it beautiful? I can finally return home.
I mean, you're not wrong, but you're also insane, and there's a reason you were banished. And I'm pretty sure it's because you're a prick. Yep, and there he goes. He leaves. I actually just got an achievement called Sacrifice. So apparently I've never let Alexander leave through the portals since they've added achievements. And now the Shadow is furious with us for letting Alexander leave. And the Shadow has us cornered, so we can't even try to escape. And we're hearing the voices of all of the victims of Daniel as they go. Yeah, the Shadow's slapping us around. Yep, we're hearing the voices, and it's starting to kill us off. Because the Shadow is claiming its prize. It's claiming us, the one who abused the power of the orbs. And that is the second ending.
Your sacrifice won't be forgotten. You will be celebrated forever.
And that is the second ending to Amnesia: The Dark Descent. Not very satisfying, but there is a school of thought that says that Daniel deserved that. But I'm going to go ahead. Now let's see the third ending, and this is the one where we're actually going to put Agrippa through the portal instead of either Daniel or Alexander.
Do you see it? A whole other world. Oh, isn't it beautiful? I can finally return home.
And now we're on to the third ending of Amnesia: The Dark Descent. So this is a partial portal opening, but we actually can't shove the head of Agrippa through. Yeah, we have to wait for this. And now we can shove the head through.
No, you fool! You have ruined us!
And now Agrippa is with Vire in the other world. And Alexander still gets his comeuppance in the end by the Shadow for abusing the power. However, so does Daniel. Daniel still dies, but Agrippa gets to survive.
There he is. Do you see him, Vaya? He deserves so much more. Please, help him. I know you can. Don't worry, Daniel. It will be all right.
So, except Daniel doesn't necessarily die. He, in theory, gets saved by Johann Vire at the behest of Agrippa in the other world, because of the fact that the other world has some level of control over life or death. And that's also a pretty decent ending, I feel. It does sort of, like, Daniel still technically dies, but he gets redeemed by the people that he helped. And that's a neat ending. I still do prefer the first one more than the others, but there you go. That is all 3 endings to Amnesia: The Dark Descent. I'm going to also be playing, of course, Amnesia: Machine for Pigs, and then Soma, and all of those to prepare out for Amnesia Rebirth. But, yeah, that's going to be that. And again, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I look forward to seeing you next time.